All right. Hi there. This is Joel with Overcome Evil with Good. We're going to talk about the Trojan Horse. What are you saying? What are you going to do talking about the Trojan Horse? Aren't you normally talk about relationships, toxic relationships? What are you into Greek mythology now again? Yes and no, right? So we're going to take the comparison of the Trojan Horse to how toxic people and how this whole thing relates. Okay, so what is the story? For you that do not remember the story fully, of course, it doesn't matter the exact details, but you had a city that was a fortified city that the Greeks could not overcome. They could not penetrate this city. So what did they do? They formulated an idea that they would come up with kind of like a surrender type trophy that would say, hey, we recognize you guys. We're going to make something in honor of you. We're going to make a horse that is going to say, hey, this is our gift to you. So as they prepare this gift, they put it on their boat. They bring it right over to the city gates. They roll it right up to the gates. They appear to walk off, get back in their boat, and sail away. Well, hey, the Trojans thought, well, hey, they were defeated, so they're giving us a gift. Let's bring her on in. So they rolled it in, and if you don't remember the story, they waited till nightfall, and in the middle of the night, what happened was a bunch of military forces got out of the horse, and they defeated the city of Troy. All right. Now, I want you to think about another analogy. You're on your computer. This doesn't happen as much anymore. It used to happen a lot. And you're thinking you're downloading some kind of a good program. And you're like, all right, I got this program. It's a free program or whatever it is. And next thing you know, you find out that you have a virus, or what they used to call a lot of times a Trojan horse or a Trojan virus, okay? Because it got in under the guise of something good. Okay, so now let's build the analogy. Of course, a lot of you already understand this, where this is gone. But you have to get this. They can come to you in the form of defeat. They can come to you in the form of offering you gifts. They can come to you in the form of like, hey, let's just be amicable and let's just reconcile our differences. Now, of course, they don't go off and tell you how bad they were and talk about the betrayal, the adultery. They don't talk about the abuse. They don't talk about any of these things. They just all of a sudden want to surrender. They want to come to you with peace offerings of kindness out of humanity. And here's the big one. I've got my hands over my mouth. Under the guise of religion. Puke, okay? You can say Jesus, you can quote verses, you can say God all you want. It doesn't make a difference. A deceptive horse, a Trojan horse is a Trojan horse is a Trojan horse, right? As we know, a horse is a horse, of course, right? So a horse is a horse. All right. Now they made you think, because we're empathetic, we're thinking we would never do that to somebody. We want people to change. We got the idea in our mind that, hey, I've done bad things and I've had some bad ideas and I changed, or maybe you've seen other people change and you got this idea, well, maybe they really did change. The problem is most of these people never change. They are who they are. Now, the thing that we can't guard ourselves from these people forever, but there are certain people that we can guard ourselves from. There's the one that was the person in our life. All right, we can say no. We can leave that gift, if you will, outside the city gates. They know that they can't penetrate you in any other way. They're wanting to come into your mind. They're wanting to be a part of your conversations. They're wanting to be a part of your thought life. Well, this is where I say, hey, In order, better to pull the gift in is to set it on fire outside the city gates. Because once you allow them in, now you have to deal with them. Now, they may not come in that purse that they gave you, or or that form of, I don't know, maybe it was a cooked goods or I don't know. They may not come in that, but what happens is in anything they do for you, they end up obligating you. Look what I did for you. This is how kind I am. Let me tell you something. I'm going to draw an analogy, and then I'm going to give you my final conclusion to this. My other analogy to this is, let me ask you a question. I want you to think about this. I hope you don't have to think about it very hard. But a guy is in town. He's a new guy in town, and he's the nice guy in town. He's got a smiley face, and he's always friends with the children. He's giving them, candy, or he's, giving them some kind of attention. The next thing you know, he sees an opportune time. He sees a child that he's already befriended before. He offers him something like he's always done, or maybe he offers him something greater. We used to say something like candy, but I don't know that candy would, if you told them that they could have an electronic device or free Wi-Fi for life or something, I don't know, that they're going to allure this child, okay? So he lures this child into his proximity enough to where he can deceive this child only to do the atrocities that abusers do to children. Now, I'll let your mind go off on that. Now, think about the anger. Think about the levels of just the indignation that you feel because of the levels of evil that's within him. He took the naivety of a child. He offered him something that they wanted in order to get what he ultimately wanted. See, as good people, we give gifts because we want to benefit other people. I want to give something because I want that other person to be blessed. They give for the purpose for themselves to be fed, okay? That is their supply. They are only putting, just like the child abuser, they're offering you something in order to get you back into their proximity for the purpose of penetrating back into your mind, your life, right? Whether it actually be back into your home life or even in your mind or anything like that, they have a tendency to be able to do that through gifts. Now, if they hand you, you're like, well, man, I always wanted that purse. And you open up the purse and you look in there and you say, well, he's not in there, so he's not going to come in the purse. Everything that these people give you, right, are nothing but strings of attachment. Now, are there people that can take things like that and you might be able to? Most people cannot do it. I'm going to tell you again to burn the gift outside the gate before you allow it to come inside your city walls, inside your mind. Get rid of it. There's no benefit. There's no benefit to a kid thinking that he can take that piece of candy and get away from that abuser. At least he says, well, I can run fast. Would you recommend that to a child? That's why I'm not recommending it to you. Because it is somehow, some way through the evil levels of deceit that they get into your minds, they end up getting into your conversation, and a lot of times they end up back in your life. And we have to say, no way, no how. We're on to your scheme. It's not going to happen again. And we certainly hate that it happens to others, but we cannot control it. They will continue to do the same thing to others. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if it looks like they found the perfect mate out there. They will do the same thing to them. or worse, because they don't get better. They only get worse. So for you that are out there that hear that, and it, for someone like me, it makes me resistant to give gifts, to share kindness, and that's the problem, that it has taken a little bit from me because of the things I want to do, because I know how people do this as a deceptive tool. And so then it makes me very cautious to do that, because I don't want people to think, and I don't want you to think the same thing. They cannot rob us any longer. We have to continue to give, to be without any fear to the other person, absolutely no obligation for the other person. If you give a gift is a gift. There are no strings. And certainly, we don't want them to feel any guilt. And we want to show true love, and we can continue to do so. So I want to encourage you to continue to give and to be who you need to be, in spite of what they had done to you, despite what you think other people might think that you're doing, because then that's acting out in fear. I want you to live a life of faith. Continue to do so. Until next time, overcome evil with good.